Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another round of Pioneer. This is round 4 from our RCQ double qualifier that we did at our brand new Wilmington location. On the left, you have Chris Cherubini on Abzan Greasefang, which is black, white, green, versus Billy Mitchell on Izzet Phoenix. Billy is from the Dark Depths podcast. He is one of the two hosts, him and Michael Mapson. Fantastic podcast for the modern legacy formats, if you haven't listened to it. We do not sponsor them. They do not sponsor us. That I know about. We probably should really work on that, though. But I'm a big fan of their podcast, and I'm friends with both of them? I don't know if Billy and I are technically friends.
17.
Billy's a great guy, though. Chris on the left is a regular at both of our two of our locations. He goes to Wilmington and he goes to Bluebell every week for Modern, and I think Pioneer as well.
I'll move to combat.
We've had him on camera before. He's been playing Amulet Titan lately. Now, let's talk about these decks. Abzan Greasefang. If you don't know about the Greasefang combo, it uses Greasefang. I think Okina Mob Boss is his name. When he is on the battlefield at the beginning of combat, you may return a vehicle to the battlefield, and you can use him to crew it. So typically what you do is the preferred play is you return Parhelion to the battlefield, and then you crew it with Greasefang, you attack with Parhelion, you make 2 angel tokens that are attacking as well, and you hit for 13 damage as early as turn 2, depending on how good your hand is and your mills. And then you also have a Seeker's Chariot. It's like the other thing you can hit. And then I know some other decks play a couple other ones, but I'm not sure.
White and
Alright.
black to cast this can't stay away targeting my Greasefang.
There's a Can't Stay Away, targeting the Greasefang.
Like to move to combat? No.
Lightning Axe.
And before entering combat, Billy is going to say no,
So it's
and
exile.
Lightning Axe the
So I can still
Greasefang.
make an effect in my main phase, correct?
And then it'll get exiled because of Can't Stay Away's effect.
Yeah, okay. Just making
Can't Stay Away is a reanimation spell from, oh god, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, I want to say. It's one of the Innistrad sets.
Yeah. Trigger I will
Chris is going to attack in here.
Or at 10? Yep.
Billy's just going to block with Ledger Shredder.
3. Seeker's Chariot.
If you do not know the white creature on Chris's board, I can understand that. I actually don't know the name of it. I think it's Extraction Specialist. ETB it connives, so it's a 3/2, as long as you discard a non-land. But it works really well in this deck because you can dump your Helion. You can, if you have Can't Stay Away, and like that's the game plan. You can dump Greasefang
ETB trigger? Yep.
for the Satyr Wayfinder. I do like this version of the deck a lot. I've played
This Temple Garden into my hand?
not Grixis. I think there's just I don't know. I've played a Mardu Greasefang deck. Esper Greasefang's also really interesting, but the green applications that you get in this deck are actually really strong. Witherbloom Command, Satyr Wayfinder, Grizzly Salvage, all really good cards.
We'll go to combat. I'm going to declare 3.
And then Billy's deck, Izzet Phoenix, is just,
Let me cast a Witherbloom Command.
it's Izzet Phoenix.
-3/-1, and then I'll mill 3.
Nothing terribly too interesting. I know Billy has his like own special tweaks to the deck that he has.
Dark War Witherbloom. I'm going to return.
Alright, Witherbloom Command.
I don't know, attack a Newman, don't I?
We got a mound of cards in that graveyard there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Billy's deck wants to put Arclight Phoenixes on the board. Phoenixes, Shredders, and just punch you aggressively with birds. Use Delve spells to get way too much value. And Galvanic Iteration to double that value. Have you ever Galvanic Iteration, then played a Treasure Cruise and drew 6 cards? Or Galvanic Iteration, play Temporal Trespass and take 2 extra turns?
Yep.
It's gross.
Okay.
It's really gross. There's a pieces of the puzzle.
What's up? Yep.
It's a fantastic tempo deck, let me tell you.
Going to Can't Stay Away, targeting my...
Alright. Going to 5 mana Flashback, Can't Stay Away.
I should have thought about that before I cast it. I'll target my Stitcher Supplier.
Targeting Stitcher Supplier.
ETB trigger. I'll mill 3. I'll mill Fiend's Informant, Temple Garden, Stitcher
It's
Supplier.
going to mill 3. It's Supplier, Temple Garden, and again I'm going to say it's Extraction Specialist.
It gets
It's
exiled.
probably not, knowing my luck. If you are unfamiliar with me as the commentator for this channel, I am a Modern and Legacy player. And I am dumb when it comes to cards from... No, Extraction Specialist is the card that Kellen played in the round before this.
I've got 3.
I don't know the name of this card then. But I can tell you what set it's from. It's from the streets of New Capenna.
Pieces.
Alright, 3 mana pieces of the puzzle. Going to look at the top 5 cards. He gets to pick up to 2 instants or sorceries and put them in his hand. It's a fiery impulse and another pieces of the puzzle. Going to dig further and further into his deck. Take a sip of this coffee and hope this one is better than the last cup. It tastes better. It's cold. I made a cup of coffee and then forgot to drink it. If you've watched the prior rounds that I've posted the last 3 days, I have been sad about the cup of coffee that I was drinking over the course of those rounds. Now this was round 4 of 6. We had 57 players at this event, which is awesome. It's always really good to have it's always really sweet as somebody who works at a store to have these large events, and especially because it's a brand new Wilmington location, and this is a format that is newer, quote unquote, with its player base. It was just really awesome seeing that many people show up and have a great time. The event ran super smoothly. Everyone seemed to be having fun. There was a couple people who were upset, they O2 dropped and stuff like that. But I mean, that's the nature of card game tournaments. They are inherently designed for the mass amount of people to fail. Alright, we're going to shoot down a creature, going to shoot down another creature, got a connive trigger.
Okay. Yep.
And because they can't stay away, exiling that citrus player, there will not be a death rattle trigger there. I know death rattle is Hearthstone and not Magic, but it's more fun to say. Actually really glad that we got Pioneer content on the channel. Chris's hand, not looking too good. I see a Parhelion, which, I mean, he could probably hardcast, right? I don't think he has any way to crew it right now, but it gets it on the board. There's a second Ledger Shredder, and then an Opt, double connive triggers. I think he's deciding which one he wants to connive with first, going with the one that already has a counter on it. There's so many cards in Billy's graveyard. He has seen so much of his deck.
Yeah, that's
resolving the Opt. And so it's the funniest thing. Watching multiple, Ledger Shredder trigger, connive triggers, and then having to actually resolve the spell.
okay.
Alright, there's a Temporal Trespass. Going to exile or delve out 8 cards from the graveyard, and then Billy's going to take an extra turn after this one.
Yeah. Can I see your graveyard tonight?
Chris is going to take a look at the graveyard. To be honest, not a card I knew really existed before it popped up in Pioneer. But again, I am a relatively newer player in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Take 2? Yeah, I'll be at 6.
Going to attack in for 2.
Okay. My turn?
And he'll begin his extra turn.
Sure.
Gonna cast a Consider. Look at the top card of that deck. Decide if you want it in your graveyard or if you want it in your hand. Bins a land.
Treasure Cruise?
Yeah. Sure.
Plays out a Treasure Cruise here.
Exiling a couple things first.
Yep.
Let's go to delve away anything that's not an Arclight Phoenix for the most part.
Yep.
Alright, gonna get connive triggers first.
I'm going to resolve this.
Okay.
Roll.
And then he'll get to draw 3 cards.
It's a quarter of my life. Roll.
Phoenix is one of the 3 best decks in the format, I think. Arguably, it's either I think it's either number 1 or number 2. Depends on how you feel about mono green.
Do you have any instant or sorcery?
Greasefang probably on the tier 1.5. It's really strong. When it doesn't sting, it's so good.
I will keep this.
Okay.
That is 3 spells cast this turn, meaning Billy will be able to return those Arclight Phoenixes in his graveyard to play.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Which I think there's 3 of them. Yeah, Jesus. 3, 6, 9,
That's 15.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Not
15.
quite.
He's 1 point off of damage.
But I think that's okay.
Only life point that matters is my last, right?
Yeah, it's very true.
Until you put with Fire Me. That'd be a shame.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna attack these.
Attacks in for 9, leaving the ledger shifters open. They are fantastic blockers. I mean, there are currently 3 5s.
I will.
That can potentially get bigger during Chris's turn. Chris picks up a Takanuma, Abandoned Mire.
Gonna channel Takanuma Abandoned Mire.
It's going to mill is it 4 cards.
Mill 3, return.
It's either 3 or 4.
Everything to return with Witherbloom Command. Mill 3. Greasefang.
1, 2,
Grizzly Salvage.
3.
Felsies, I'll return a
Mill 3, return a creature. I get a creature or land.
Sensor. And then I'll
Plays a Darkboar Pathway. Plays out a Greasefang.
go to combat. And then yeah.
Connive triggers
I'm gonna
are a
go
thing
with
that happens.
Declarations.
Sure.
Combat Iteration.
I'm going to get the copy. I'm going to target this twice.
Yeah, you
And
got
then
it.
just gonna make sure the Greasefang dies. Chris is gonna scoop it up. Billy will be taking game 1. And we'll be right back with game 2
I'm going to go to cop. No,
just
you're
a
not.
minute.
Get back here.
Absolutely not. We're in your
Wow, look at that, game 2.
William Marsh.
Chris is gonna lead on a black land. I cannot tell what that is. Playing a Stitcher Supplier. Mills, Greasefang, Parhelion, Thoughtseize. Jesus Christ. Does he have a Can't Stay Away in his hand?
Ultra. Courtyard. Can't stay away the Greasefang.
Yes, he does. He's gonna Can't Stay Away that Parhelion, and Billy's just gonna scoop it up. Or Can't Stay Away the Greasefang, which will bring back the Parhelion, which puts 13 damage on the board. So yeah, that's game 2.
Only turn 2 deck and
That is one of those crazy fast draws that you just cannot beat.
I'm the Pioneer team right now.
Unless like Billy's
I
hand
might
was,
switch.
I think exactly Lightning
They're
Axe,
not
right?
sure.
It's the only thing that kills it. On turn 1.
And I'm like the only person who plays all
Flash
three
two.
formats. So they're kind of whatever.
Seeing as how
I
game 2 was
like to play
a minute
Legacy,
long.
but I understand that's probably
we
not.
will
in
keep
everybody's
this running throughout the
preference,
sideboarding and
especially
shuffling
if they don't
process.
actually play Pioneer
Talk to
regularly.
you. How are you doing? Tell me, Pioneer
my teammates
watchers,
say
do you
Pioneer.
play either of these decks? What decks in the format do you play?
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at too. It's just like.
Do you think
nothing
Nixos should be
has
banned? Do you
Phoenix
think the
doesn't
Delve
play
spell
a
should be
couple of
banned?
them, and Ian doesn't play really any format right now. So.
One of our teammates, he's 2 out of 3
Do you think Liliana the Veil is getting printed into Standard and therefore printed into Pioneer? If you were paying attention to Morrow's,
I think once you
Mark
saw
Rosewater's
monitoring,
like spoiler thing, he was talking about how an iconic Planeswalker will be reprinted for the first time in a while. Which I feel like is Liliana, especially because there's Liliana artwork that was revealed for the set and confirmed, you know, to be a Liliana in the set, and they didn't attach a name to it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things they did, I think, on Tuesday, August 16th, is they were like, here's a bunch of like pictures, or like a bunch of card art from the set, and it had card names on it. And the new Karn is like Living Legacy, something like that, and it had, you know, Karn Living Legacy on there. The Liliana arts didn't have a name on it, so I think
And they banned that for
it's Liliana the Veil.
and then also turned around and made everything a lot.
And I think, as much as I talk, if you are familiar with us, me in the store, or in any video where Liliana the Veil has been cast on camera that we've uploaded, I talk about how I do not think it's a very good card in Modern right now. I think it'll be good in Pioneer. I think it'll find a good home in Rakdos. Could be a sideboard card in Greasefang, though I do think it's a little too slow for that deck.
Can you
But it'll be
shuffle your
interesting.
teammate's deck?
Technically, in this case, we would be allowed because our
Card also
teammate-
just needs a reprint. Card's $67 for like no reason.
and his ribs. But maybe
Fine. The one on the molded floor earlier today.
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
And
even
if
turned
the art that was revealed,
had the
there's
fault
two different artworks for Lily that were revealed, and if they're both for
yoink their
Lily of
dork
the
and then
Veil,
yoink their Karn and then
they will look crazy good. Whether or not, hopefully they're not both alternate frames. Hopefully one of them is just like the regular one.
it's actually one of my favorite cards. I play Legacy even like Lone Band.
But knowing WotC, it'll probably be like a reprint of the original art or the Innistrad art, and then they'll do a borderless and then a
Turn my wasteland.
special frame, a showcase. That's what they call it.
Yeah, I can keep this.
Chris, I believe, is on a mold of 6 here. Mold of 5. Oh boy. This is to Steam Vents Past. Concealed Courtyard, Thoughtseize. I don't know what it is. Mulling to 5 in Magic, I always feel is atrocious. I'm always upset whenever I have to do it. I've mulled lower than 5 and been like, whatever. But 5 for some reason always hurts.
Take your Fire Impulse.
Especially in Legacy. I've had many Delver Mirrors where I've had to mull 5 in a game, and it's like, I feel like I just lost. It's not the case, but still. Alright, here's a Ledger Shredder. Build's hand consists of Crackling Drake, Chart of Course, Galvanic Iteration, and Unknown card. There's an unlicensed Hearse coming out here. Pretty solid at dealing with Arclight Phoenixes. Alright, there's an Opt. However, it does nothing against the Ledger Shredder.
Okay.
Plays a Spire Bluff, plays a Thing in the Ice, put a Connive Trigger on that Ledger Shredder.
What language is that? Is that Russian?
Thing in the Ice, if you're unfamiliar with what that card does, it enters the battlefield with 4 counters on it, and when you cast an instant or sorcery, you remove a counter from it, and when it has no counters, you transform it into whatever the name of the card is on the back, and it is a 7/8 that when it enters the battlefield, it bounces all non-horror creatures. It itself is a horror.
Is that okay?
I will not keep track of it. You can feel free to do whatever you'd like.
Okay, sounds good.
It's quite
Some
good.
people like to put them underneath the Hearse spot. I like that. So. And 10. I'll try. Go ahead.
Go to combat.
Sure. Matt, 14.
Attacks in for 2 with the Ledger Shredder.
Chart of Course.
Chart's fine.
Plays the Chart of Course. Crackling Drake is also a really cool card. So ETB draws a card, and then its power is equivalent to the number of instants or sorceries in your graveyard and exile.
Internal, eat your
And I
graveyard.
think it's an 01. I wanted to check that earlier. I wanted to see if the toughness also scales with
Cast Cruise itself.
Crackling Drake. Oh, it's an 04, or asterisk 4. I imagine somebody has commented about that from the prior video, because I always thought it was an 01 for some reason. Yeah, equals the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. Meaning it can be massive. Chris was a Stitcher supplier. Does not have very good mills. Or did not have very good mills.
Informant, Wither Bloom, Bling Marsh, Temple Garden tapped. Go ahead.
Play land.
Okay.
There's a River Glide Pathways, land for turn. One of like the 3 pathways I know by name.
Yeah, I'm at
Attacks
11.
in for 3 with the Ledger Shredder. Bird Warrior is going the distance.
Pieces is fine.
3 mana pieces of the puzzle.
We'll take Lightning Axe and Opt.
Okay.
Put these
Gets
2 lands.
Lightning Axe, Opt. Bins a couple other cards. Pieces has words. Pieces is honestly a really cool card design.
Fiery Impulse Treasure Carries.
Citrus suppliers.
Yeah, the Citrus Supplier is going to eat your cards, of course. That's definitely how that works. So.
Yep.
Don't laugh at me, Carl. Leave me alone.
Oh,
You're laughing at me. Cut it out. I will think for a second. I'm going to cast Witherblade Command. I'm going to give my Citrus
2-mana
Supplier
Witherbloom
-1/-1
command's going
and
to target
then Eternal
the
Land.
Stitcher Supplier here,
So the trigger will go on the stack at the end.
which will cause a death trigger. So we're going to Witherbloom, mill cards, get back a land and or creature.
And then I have the trigger.
No, just land. Grizzly Salvage is the creature. Or is it?
Swamp is my land for turn. Can't stay away my Greasefang.
Mill 3 more. Can't stay away the Greasefang.
Go to combat.
No,
You'll say
stop.
no,
Going to
and
attempt to
you'll
enter
exile.
combat.
Yeah,
Kind of slide it
lightning
right
axe.
into the exile because of that lightning axe.
Actually, first, before I do that, you're casting Greasefang. I'm going to trigger my Shredder.
Yeah, I'm casting.
There are
can't
connect
stay away,
triggers
yes.
first that have
Can't
to
do
happen.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw.
Demons is in play, not in your hand.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay.
Discard that one.
I will discard Temporal Trespass.
Sure.
This card of it looks like a temporal trespass.
Lightning
Just go to
Axe.
combat.
Yep, there's the axe.
Discarding Galvanic Iteration. Greasefang with my second spell.
I've called this card Lightning Axe and Lava Axe multiple times. What the hell is the name of this card? It's Lightning Axe, right? Yes, okay. Is Lava Axe a card, or am I just losing my mind? Oh, it is also a card. It also costs 5 mana.
Play a land.
Lightning Axe, kids. It is Lightning Axe. Oh boy.
I'll go to 7.
Tax in for 4. It'll put Chris to 7.
One card in hand?
One card.
4 mana, play the Crackling Drip.
That's good.
Draw a card?
Yeah.
And pass.
End of turn. I'm gonna eat your Temporal Trespass.
Cards
and
that
Galvanic
go to its
Iteration.
graveyard.
Untap. Yep. Draw.
Has Darkboard Pathway and a Seeker's Chariot in hand. And does not really do very much for you there, my friend.
I think I'm just Dark Boar. You're at 20 still. Guess I'll
Go to Flashback, Can't Stay
so
Away.
just flashback. If I were to return, and this counts exile. as
Targeting
well.
hopefully something that flies.
No, yeah, you just got it.
Good game.
Chris is just going to scoop it up. Billy's going to take a 2-1, lead going on to 4-0 with Izzet Phoenix in this tournament.
Do another one. So
Chris is going to be 3-1. Still a very good record so far. Thank you for watching, folks. Have a great rest of your day.